Okay, so we still have a bunch of acrylic parts that are waiting for the cement to cure. So what I thought we'd do next is a little bit of pre-wiring. So we're going to get our coin sensor, which you'll remember we put the foil on earlier. We need both parts of that, the upper and the lower. And we're going to get some wiring done on these two. So to do that, we'll need wire. And this is 20 gauge stranded wire, and I really strongly recommend the silicone insulation. As you can see, it's really flexible and easy to work with, so it's one of my favorites for these types of projects. I don't recommend a specific brand. I know there's one printed on this box, but it's one of a bunch of boxes of wire that I have, and this is the one I grabbed. But it is 20 gauge, it's stranded, and it's silicone jacketed versus being PVC jacketed. A PVC jacket is a much stiffer wire, the kind you might be familiar with. You could set a bend in it, and the bend would keep. And this is a lot more noodly. And I'll need my M3 ring terminals here. Got a whole bunch of those. My crimper and my wire strippers. Now there's a wire stripper built into this crimper and a lot of other crimpers, and they work just fine, but the fact is I got addicted to this type of stripper, and it's the kind that I like to use, so that's what I'll have here. So we'll go one part at a time, and I need 3 ring terminals to do the lower part of the coin sensor. And then I brought out some machine screws. I have 2 6mm screws and 2 8mm screws. And I'll show you how we're going to use those. So to start with, I'm going to press down on this foil tape where I know those holes for the screws to be, and get them kind of dimpled so that I can find them. The next thing is, and remember we have a layer of duct tape and a layer of metal tape here, so it's kind of a lot to get a screw through. So I'm going to help things along here by slitting this. So I'm going to make kind of a plus sign cut in that outside dimple there, and the outside dimple on this side as well. Just push the blade in and then turn it 90 degrees and push it in again. The next thing I'm going to do is take a longer screw that I have just laying around and run that through the hole. And the point of this is to let the threads of the screw cut more material so that they're actually going to cut the tape. They'll either cut, smash, or push out of the way the excess tape that's in the hole, or in the way of the hole, I should say. So see, now we have a fairly nice round hole. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is make a short span of wire that'll connect this left hole to this right hole, and we're going to connect these two halves of the coin sensor together here, because we'll still only have to send one wire to the back of the machine instead of having one on each side headed to the back of the machine. It just makes things easier to handle. The other issue here is we need to select a wire color that we're going to use for the coin sensor components throughout the machine. My personal habit is to just use yellow for the coin sensors, because gold coins are yellow, and that's about as scientific as I get with that. But this way, when we're looking into the machine later, we'll be able to pretty easily tell the difference between the coin sensor wiring and the perch sensor wiring, which will be a different color. So what we need to do is cut off 15 centimeter length of our wire, and then strip one end of it. So I have my stripper preset to a length of what looks like 7mm. So 6 or 7mm. I'll give this a little bit of a twist just to keep it from fraying. And then the way I like to crimp, we'll use the red dot crimper setting for this size connector. So I like to just gently place my ring terminal into the crimper in my dominant hand, right, and then what you want to do is just insert the wire until the bare wire is just visible above the colored part of the terminal, and then squash it to crimp it. And then you want to always give these a little tug. Make sure that they're secure. You'd much rather tug the connector off the wire here than you would with your machine out when you're trying to use it. Now I'll strip the other side of the same wire and just a couple of twists just to keep them together. We're not trying to make a tight bundle of wire there. Same procedure, just put that ring terminal into the red part of the crimper jaw and insert the wire. Just pull it back until it's just outside rather, the colored part of the connector. And crimp that in place. Now my test, I failed my connector test here. See, not a good crimp. So I'm going to go at it again. There. So now what I have is a pair of ring terminals that will stretch from one side of the coin sensor to the other hole. The only thing we need now, and since I wasted I wasted a terminal with a bad crimp, I need another one. Now I need a longer stretch of my coin sensor wire. And so what I like to do here is cut more than I need. We're going to make the lead that goes from the coin sensor to the back of the machine, and I usually make that one about 15 inches long at this point. And I'll probably cut it down later, and that is probably a waste of wire. But this way, this will be much longer than what we need, and it'll let you decide personally how much wire you want to have inside your machine, which also determines how far outside the machine you can get the electronics when you need to work on them. So it's a convenience question as well as one of kind of organizing your cables. So for now we're going to strip only one end of this wire and crimp a connector to it. There. Now I have my pigtail for the coin sensor, or the lower part of the coin sensor. So then I'll take one of my 6mm machine screws and our double-ended wire. Put that 6mm screw on the connector and run that through the screw hole here. And things might be a little tight because we squashed all of that adhesive into the hole when we cut the tape. So for now, I'm going to put a nut on the back of this just tight enough to hold it in place while I work. I'm going to be stacking these two ring terminals on the same post. So that I like to use the 8mm screw for that, just to give me a little more room. So I'll put it first through the pigtail, the screw that is, and then through my little extension from the left side, and then get that screw into the hole here. And then as soon as that protrudes from the back, I get a nut on it. And then I'm going to get that just hand tight for now. And I'm going to arrange it so that that terminal for the pigtail is pointing directly away. And then tighten this the rest of the way, which might require pliers to hold the nut, and it'll also mean, just like you're seeing here, that terminal is going to walk around a little bit. So I'm going to actually bring the terminal farther left than I want it until things get tight enough that it stops walking around on its own. And then I should be able to get this tighter. There we go. That's a good connection. Now I'll just take care of this other end here because we left it loose. There. So now what we've done is we've tied these two parts of the coin sensor together and then connected them to a single wire that goes to the back. And that is the same procedure we're going to follow for the lower part, or rather the upper part of the coin sensor. So again, I'm going to smash down on these screw holes till I can see the dimples. And then the set that I like to use when you're holding the part like I am now is the set that's farthest, the set of holes that's farthest from you. So again, we're going to sort of pre-cut these. Now this is easier work because we don't have duct tape under this foil tape, as you might remember. So in this case, I can just push the screw through. Pull it back out. I just used a random 12mm screw for that one. Now the wire we're going to cut for this is 17mm long. And I need more ring terminals. Three if I do it right, more if I foul up my crimping again. Now I'll strip this wire. Crimped and check it. Flip over and do the other side now. And then I'm going to make another one of those 15-inch long pigtails. And again, we're only going to strip and crimp one end of this. We'll strip the far end of these wires a little closer to the time that we're going to be using them for something. For now, this will just keep them protected and keep them from fraying. Okay, so we'll test the fit here. Great. Wire's a little long, but that is not a problem. So on my left-hand side here, and that's with the 2 points facing me, on the left-hand side, again, we're going to use just a 6mm machine screw. Let's tighten that one up right now. And then, on this side, an 8mm that passes through the pigtail and our connecting wire. Now, in this case, 17 millimeters might have been a little bit long for this wire. It won't interfere with anything as long as it's routed in the direction that I have it routed. Like if it bowed in this direction, we wouldn't want that. It could potentially interfere with the coin drawer, but back here it'll be fine. So I'm going to bend this or pivot this connector over here a little bit to convince that wire to go in that direction. And then I'll probably loosen that left side and adjust it a little bit too. Yeah, so what I might do, actually I don't think I need to do that. So just having this connector be angled in that way has taken up the slack in that wire. And then we have a big old long pigtail head that'll head to the back of the machine. So that is our two parts of the coin sensor pre-wired. Wasn't so bad.